Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Holman. On today's show, Ken talks with Colin Woodall with NCBA on trade and federal regulations. Then Jill Zimmerman with the Carl program, and we finish up with Daniel Hetty with Kansas Wheat on the importance of NAFTA, plus the weekly report from the Kansas Livestock Association and a market update with the guys from Paragon. Thanks for watching the Kansas Ag Report.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
We're joined now by Colin Woodall, the Vice President of Governmental Affairs for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Colin, always great to catch up with you. We talked to you on the phone a lot, but boy, issues for cattlemen. You have been busy this year.
We have been busy. It's been a wild year, both on the legislative side and on the regulatory front, but we've had a lot of fun. With the new administration, they've had a focus on trying to roll back a lot of the rules and regulations that we saw in the Obama administration, especially on the environmental side. So we've been done everything that we can to possibly take full advantage of that effort.
You have had some wins, some things. I know a year and a half ago, there was a lot of concern, a lot of things trying to tie some loose ends up that really weren't the best for agriculture. So with that being placed, plus now we're starting to fill in more spots in USDA, which is kind of a good thing because you got to have somewhere to go.
The biggest win for us, I believe, is the WOTUS repeal. Mm-hmm. And that was something that we've been working on throughout the entire Obama administration, it seems like. And we finally have an administration that's willing to back it off. So we probably will have that done by the end of the year, the final kill shot on this. But then it's a matter of trying to figure out what's next, because there's still the discussion of who has jurisdiction over water quality between the federal side and the state and local side. We believe that this Administrator Pruitt, will help us create what that regulation should be, where we can protect water quality, but at the same time, and more importantly, protect private property rights.
Now, I do have to ask a little question about that. There's been a little something in the news about Secretary Pruitt being involved in a campaign to get folks to talk about the repeal. Any comments there you want to say on that?
This is a situation where the administrator was going around the country, making a lot of stops, visiting farms and different ag operations. They contacted us about setting up a visit to a ranch out in Colorado. And in doing so, he made the comments that he always does, and we brought in our media people and just asked for some time with him to get some comments on what he thought about WOTUS. It was not anything where he was making statements he hadn't already made, and it wasn't anything that we were doing other than trying to report. So this is a situation where people are trying to make more of a situation than what it really was.
Well, to give you the opportunity to, from your standpoint, to clear the air in a sense. All right.
So the one thing that they have done, they being the Trump administration, is that they have honored our request to keep beef and cattle trade off the table. So that's a good thing. But if we are to see tariffs come back in place or see restriction, then all that product that we're sending into Canada and Mexico right now will stay here at home and depress prices here. So ultimately, it's the cow-calf producer that's going to suffer the burden.
Let's remind folks, if something happens, we all go back to most favored nation trading status, and it's been a while, but that's really not the best thing for the U.S.
Well, it's not the best thing for the United States. And when you look at everything that we dealt with both Canada and Mexico, especially Mexico in those days, it's not going to be pleasant. We're going to lose access. We're going to have restrictions placed on us. It's going to cost us money, plain and simple.
All right, next year will be an election year. I don't look ahead already. We know we got a lot of things to get to that point. What's going to be the agenda next year? As far as probably us Aggies, it's going to be the Farm Bill, getting it across the line. Anything else we need to be aware of?
I really think that we're going to spend most of our time on the Farm Bill because there is a real push to get this thing done before the current Farm Bill expires on September 30th of 2018. There's motivation from the House Ag Committee, the Senate Ag Committee. We want to do everything we can to also help get that done. But we do have a request to get a foot and mouth disease vaccine bank established. It's going to cost some money, and we're writing a Farm Bill. There's not a whole lot of new money, so we're going to figure out how to pay for it. We haven't figured that out quite yet, but that is our priority.
And one thing we didn't touch on, The World Health Organization has come out and said, be careful with antibiotics use, and the administration and others are saying, wait a minute, this is some leftover stuff that was really more politics than true science.
It doesn't surprise us. WHO comes up with these ideas quite often, and there is nothing that they did that was based on science. It's all about a political agenda. We know that the science is there that shows that our preventive use is acceptable. Now, we have come to the table, and we have been supportive of 209, 213, which requires the veterinary feed directive, and also phasing out the use of antibiotics for growth promoting. So we've done our share to show a willingness to address antimicrobial resistance. Human health has not been as forthcoming. I think that's where WHO probably needs to pay attention, not on the animal side.
Very good. Well, all right, Colin, as always, lots of information. Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Ken.
Colin Woodall, who is Vice President of Governmental Affairs for the National Cattle and Beef Association, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Well, joining us now is Jill Zimmerman, the new president of CARL, Kansas Agriculture and Rural Leadership. Jill, congratulations on your new position.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me today.
Jill spent some time around Kansas working for the 4-H Foundation. Of course, many folks maybe know her too from being a county extension agent, but we're going to talk more about ag leadership in Kansas. So you're new to this position. Why you want to take on this challenge?
Well, it's an exciting time to be involved in Kansas agriculture, and then the leadership piece is just a bonus, I think, for me. And as you know, as I looked at applying for the job, it really, for me, it puts all the things together that I think it's just it's a great combination of my skill set, and so it was a great opportunity for me, and I was honored and humbled to get the nod.
Kansas Agriculture Rural Leadership has been around now over 25 years. A lot of classes and folks from all over the state, not only farmers and ranchers, but agribusiness people as well.
Yeah, we have nearly 400 graduates. We're now currently in class 14, and they're just starting their first year journey. Their first year, they've been to Garden City. Soon we'll go to Norton, and so it's an exciting time. We got a great class, and they're really excited and engaged and want to make a difference.
So, what's it all entail? I mean, is it a lot of typical seminars and a lot of learning, or do you actually kind of get out and kind of see more of the state, or what's kind of the main purpose of CARL?
Yeah, sure. So what the student, or I shouldn't say students, but what the participants, they commit approximately 52 days over the course of 2 years to, and it's both kind of hands-on and learning, and so we put them through a lot of different environments to kind of stimulate that thought so that they can go back and be catalysts for change. Now, those seminars are all over the state of Kansas, and then each one we focus on different things: economic development, personal development. Topeka will be the state of the state. We'll go to Washington, D.C. We'll talk, spend some time there. We also discuss communications and how to, be better at that and sharing our story and things like that. So
also an opportunity internationally. You'll go somewhere and figure that all out too.
Yeah. So this class is scheduled in 2019 to go to Cuba, and so kind of pending how things evolve on that front. But that's where we're headed. Considering everything stays well.
Mm-hmm. We're talking with Jill Zimmerman with the Kansas Agriculture Rural Leadership Program. We'll take a break and talk more about Carl coming up.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
And we're joined once again by Jill Zimmerman with the Kansas Agricultural Rural Leadership. And again, correction, I said 4-H Foundation, FFA Foundation, good ag groups all work together. So we want to make sure we get that square for everybody. So, all right, let's talk ag leadership. It seems like with what's going on in rural communities and all over Kansas, leadership is something we all talk about, and the CARL program is one that you can kind of get that training if you want to really be a part of your community and about any level.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the CARL program is that I think we have something for everybody, and I think it does provide people with training that maybe they don't get elsewhere or something like that. But we are blessed in the state that we have the opportunity to create collaborative relationships with many organizations that believe in what we do. And so it allows us to have a program that has greater rigor and relevance for our participants. And so that's one of the things that I really enjoy is being able to be a part and make it something bigger. We have a strong foundation of great leadership, but the continuum of that and to build on that legacy is really important to me as I embark on this effort.
Well, it seems like one of the things I know that the Kansas Ag Rural Leadership over the last few years has done a lot more in Abilene with General Eisenhower. Yeah. General Eisenhower kind of has a new rebirth, if you will, in the state and really in the country of looking at his style of leadership. So is that some of the things as you look around the state trying to find little nuggets of different leadership ways in Kansas and bring them all together?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think that makes us better at the end of the day, because we are blessed in Kansas with a lot of great leaders who have been committed and passionate about agriculture. And so if we can connect and create relationships and then create meaningful opportunities for our participants, then they can go back and be that catalyst for change in their communities. And so our rural communities are fighting a huge challenge in today's environment, and it's only going to get tougher in the next 15 to 25 years. And so we really need people that are willing to be on the front lines and kind of tackle those problems.
Okay, a couple things. Let's talk about this current class, the makeup of it. I mean, you have ag teachers, you have farmers, you have agribusiness people. So people out there thinking about it, well, maybe it won't fit for me. It can really fit for anybody.
It fits for anybody. If there's any connectivity that you have remotely into agriculture, and as we think about that in agriculture, sometimes we get that too narrow. But even consumers and folks like that, the scape of agriculture is really quite broad. And so we do have a great makeup of the current class. And so it's really important for us to continue to have that diversity, because that diversity is important because it makes us a better class and a better program as a whole if we can have a lot of diversity.
So you just started with this class.
Right.
So before long, though, there's going to be opportunities. So if maybe we've stoked somebody's interest. How can they get more information about CARL, either to maybe help sponsor, they have a passion and want to make sure we have good ag leaders, or to be a part of the next group? How can they do that?
Yeah, so you can find us on the web at carlprogram.com. All one word, carlprogram.com, and we'd be happy to visit with them both if they have an interest in participating. And then it takes a lot of money for us to operate and continue to offer these opportunities. And so any and all help is time, talent, and treasures is kind of how we look at it.
All right. Well, Jill, again, thanks a lot. Congratulations on this position. We look forward to continuing to converse with you.
Thank you very much.
Jill Zimmerman, the new president of the Kansas Agricultural Leadership Program, has joined us. Stand by. We'll have more in a moment. And welcome back. Joining us now is Daniel Heddy from Kansas Wheat, and we'll spend a few moments talking about the North American Free Trade Agreement. Daniel, been a lot of speculation this year on will we remain a part of that or not, or will NAFTA even remain? Got to be a big concern to wheat farmers.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking about Mexico and Canada, those are two of our biggest customers, especially for Kansas when it comes to wheat. For Kansas, Mexico and Canada are the top two exporting countries that we export all of our wheat to. About a quarter of the wheat grown in Kansas specifically goes to Mexico. It's a big market for us, and if that market was to go away, it'd be very detrimental to all Kansans, and especially to farmers. Well, it looks like there's been a lot of discussion, and this president is one that likes to kind of make deals, and so, but when it comes to some of these trade negotiations, it's not like a typical deal you and I might make. Yeah, absolutely. It's what's interesting about it is we recognize that there are some things that could be improved with NAFTA. I don't think anyone will tell you that NAFTA is perfect, but at the same time, there's no need to completely repeal. There's no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What we really need is, provisions for the industries that aren't benefiting from NAFTA, and increase the provisions for the industries that are benefiting from NAFTA. And the industry that's benefiting the most is definitely agriculture. Well, thank you for joining us, Daniel Heddy from Kansas Wheat. We've been talking NAFTA and also some trade deals, and NAFTA has been one that's been a bunch of renegotiations for quite a few months now. Here in a couple of weeks after the holidays, they'll get back at it. What's your level of optimism right now? I can't say I'm extremely optimistic. A lot of the rhetoric that's come out has been very concerning, and actions taken by other countries have been also very concerning. For example, Mexico just bought wheat from Argentina, just simply based off the rhetoric that's happening between the United States and Mexico when it comes to imports of ag products. So we're already starting to see a loss of market share in that market, and it's very, very concerning to us. Overall trade, a lot of focus has been on NAFTA, but wheat is a global commodity, and there is some concern because really some of the best quality wheat comes right here in Kansas. Mm-hmm, absolutely, and without trade and without international trade, the ag industry is the one who really suffers the most. Ag is extremely, benefits, a lot from international trade, especially within our own continent, but definitely all over the world. Any trade deal that could help sell more wheat, we're definitely in favor of. All right, Daniel Heddy from Kansas Wheat has joined us. We've been talking the importance of trade and NAFTA. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
For the first time ever, a KLA member being honored for 70 years of membership was on hand to be honored at the convention. Pat Sobel of Cedar Point was recognized November 29th at the Kansas Livestock Association Convention in Wichita for maintaining his membership since 1947. While at the convention, Sobel attended educational sessions, participated in policy discussions, and took part in social events. One 60-year member and 9 50-year members were honored along with Sobel. The 60-year member was First National Bank of Scott City, which first paid dues in 1957. Those who joined KLA in 1967 and have been members since are Roger Cottle of Atchison, Farmers and Ranchers Livestock of Salina, Dennis Huck from Coldwater, Larson Farm of Greene, Musil Farms of Blue Rapids, Phil Farr from Council Grove, Security State Bank of Scott City, Arlen Stackley from El Dorado, and John Swayze of Buckland. There are 104 members who have belonged to KLA for 50 years or more. The longest continuously held KLA membership belongs to Jansonius Farms of Prairie View, which joined the association in 1918. These and other extremely loyal members make KLA a strong and viable organization to carry out its mission of advancing members' common business interests and enhancing their ability to meet consumer demand.
Good morning. I'm Cody Wintersheet with Paragon Ag Advisors. 2017 is quickly coming to a close and would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Right at the moment, the grain markets seem to be lacking any major news, particularly from the friendly side, and are getting into light volume holiday type trading. The big things to continue to monitor moving forward over the next several weeks for corn and soybeans will be South American weather, exports, and other demand news. It's still a long growing season for South America, but currently conditions seem to be quite good in Brazil and improving in Argentina. Although our exports have been improving to some degree recently, they are still generally lagging behind a year ago, as well as expectations. The January 12th crop report could hold some surprises and is one to keep an eye on. However, most of the recent USDA reports have been anything but friendly. Although we will also get winter wheat seedings on that report as well. The general assumption lately has been that we'll get even lower acres yet again on wheat this coming year, after an already huge reduction this past year. The reason this could be fairly significant is at this point in time anyways, most of the wheat belt is also experiencing drought type conditions. So for wheat producers out there does finally seem to be a few domino pieces that are lining up on the friendlier side of the equation. Ultimately, however, the world still has burdensome supplies, and the timing of the drought conditions isn't necessarily ideal for major market moves either. But it does put more pressure on the need for improved moisture and better conditions down the road once we break dormancy. Thank you and have a great day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
That's this week's show. For more ag news or watch the program again, go to KansasAgReport.com. For my partner Ken Rogers, I'm Brian Holman. Thanks for watching.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.